proceed.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know, just for a change, I could try actually going to the meeting room. We could give it a whirl.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left. This is supposedly the way to the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, why not? Gonna go upstairs this time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
That's nice. Executive bathroom. Nice doors there. Oh, it's all right.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yep, all right. This looks precarious. It's all right, we made it. Should I go down here? Do I have an option?
Going down.
Now the question is, am I going to keep following the route I am being prescribed, or shall I go a little bit kooky right at the end?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Oh, it's like
Why
that,
did he
is it?
feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh, nice lighting down here.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Huh. Well, that is a predicament. Yeah, why the hell not? Press it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
This looks familiar.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sorry, just taking a sip of my beer there. Okay, let's move over this little bridge. Button. Various non-interactive looking items. Let's hit this button then.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
We are pushed onwards. And once again, we have a button to press.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Well, yeah, duh.
No.
No?
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
Okay.
His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I don't think so. That's dark. Am I going to fall? Please be a bridge.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Alrighty-roo.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
4. Okay, fine. Yes, I have to press the buttons in order. Or do I? Well, let's see what we've got in the middle here. Some kind of funky thing. There's a button. There's 5. I see one over there, I think. 3. Let's see if there's any more over here. There's 2 and 1. So I've pressed a lot of buttons. I guess it wants me to press them in a certain order. Well, let's go and look in facility power. What's at the end here? Maybe I can control someone else's mind. That'd be fun.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On.
Oh, Stanley.
Yeah.
You didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yeah.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Control?
Ha! Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go.
Off then. Off.
Turn the controls off, and leave.
Off.
If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
Off.
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
Yeah.
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Is it kind of
How long until detonation then?
too late?
Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star.
Right.
It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
Run away?
Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
Okay.
But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me,
For fun.
where we're going, what
1.
all this means. I barely know where
2.
to start.
Let's
What's
see.
that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are. A moment of solace before you're
3.
obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood.
4.
You're going to
Was it
die
4 over
anyway.
here?
I'll tell you
no,
exactly
4 was
what happened
upstairs.
to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then
4.
dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground,
For some
swallowing
reason,
everyone
I feel like
inside,
5 is going to
or I
save
let
me.
it burn to a crisp.
Was it
I
5
have to
here or
say
was this
that,
3?
This version of events has been rather amusing.
Crumbs.
Watching
5
you
over
try
here.
to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see
5.
it go.
No, okay.
I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Let's try the
My
off
goodness,
button.
only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Nope.
You know what?
Nothing.
To hell with it.
We're doomed.
I'm going to put some extra time on the clock.
What?
Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Well, I've already
Is it
tried
that you have
pressing all the
no
buttons.
idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing
In
right
order.
now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of
3 it
turning it
says.
off? I mean, look
Okay,
at
let's
you.
hit 3.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no,
Still
these
3.
colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me.
Still 3.
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved?
Still
Do
3.
you have
Or
any
maybe I need to
idea
go
what
up.
your purpose in this place
Try
is?
4.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's
No.
just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless.
Still says 3.
To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Huh.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
Okay.
No ending here.
Well, I'm
Just
resigned to it
being
now.
blown to pieces.
So,
Will you cling
viewers, how have
desperately
you
to your
been?
fellow life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable
This is
life
nice.
from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
And here we are. Back in here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. I think I probably won't go in that little place again. It was not so nice. Yeah, why not? Let's go to the
When
meeting
Stanley
room.
came to a set of 2 open doors,
Yep.
he entered the door on his left.
I think I'm gonna choose the
Yet
escape
there was not a
option.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Oopsie.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Yep.
Hoping he might... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
I'm ahead of the
upstairs
plot now, I
to
know
his
what I'm doing.
boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office,
Yep, keypad.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human
remember the
life.
code.
What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, so there is a kind of repeatability to this game. After the first few respawns, if you would choose such a term, I was feeling like maybe it was a lot more guided. But no,
Stanley
there's,
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yep, no, I'm going to try escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
Uh-oh.
the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Let's not. Well, let's see. 'Cause let's see if the world has changed behind us.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
No, I'm going to give it a whirl.
Nope, still on board with death.
Well, I want to see how many times this repeats. No? Okay. Still on board with death. Let's check this out. Let's see if the narrator lies. Or if this is just one of those corridors that goes on forever.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Yes, as I was saying, corridors
At this point,
that go on
Stanley was
forever and
making
ever.
a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Goodbye, cruel world.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story.
Oh, this old
trapped
trope.
forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
I don't feel
killing
very
him
obliterated.
instantly.
Where am I? Am I in a kind of...
And yet it would be just a
Mazy
few
thing?
minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
This is nice.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless.
Oh, check this.
Making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Look at this. Yes, turn those suckers off. There's another one over here. Stanley's computer. Nature paintings. A few door examples here. Is this one on? No, he's off. Credits. There we go. The light or the dark? Well, let's have a little look in the light. Oh, what's this? Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. This is nice. Walking around the museum. Not what I expected. How curious. Though maybe we're still in the game. And maybe I'm a bit lost. So what, do we just wander around this museum for ages? Sending levers. Curious. Exit, yeah.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit.
What?
There's no other way to beat this game. As long as
Oh.
you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Well, it looks like the end truly is never the end. What happens if I click? Right click. Double click. Pause, resume. No, I think that's it. Well, I'm going to walk away and leave the computer for 5 minutes, see if it changes its mind.